At the start of World War II, German generals believed they had already solved the secret of modern warfare. Speed, blitzkrieg, move fast, strike hard, and collapse the enemy before they can react. They had used it across Poland, France, and the Soviet Union. Roads filled with tanks, trucks, and fuel convoys. Entire armies moved like lightning, so when the United States entered the war, many German officers were not impressed. They looked at America and laughed. From the German perspective, the United States had one major weakness: logistics. American armies depended on trucks, fuel, food, spare parts, and long supply lines. German generals believed this dependence would slow the Americans down. You cannot fight a fast war with a slow supply system. One German officer reportedly said, "They assumed that once the Allies landed in Europe, American forces would bog down, trapped by their own logistics." They were wrong. After the Normandy landings in June 1944, the Allies faced a massive problem. The beaches were behind them, the ports were damaged or still in German hands, and the Allied armies were advancing faster than planned. Victory was creating a crisis. General B.T.S. Patton's Third Army was moving at incredible speed. German defenses were collapsing, but tanks don't run on courage. They run on fuel, and Patton's army was burning gasoline faster than anyone expected. German commanders noticed the problem. Immediately, they believed the advance would soon stop. Surely the Americans would run out of fuel. Surely trucks would fail. Surely the supply system would collapse. Under pressure, German officers waited and waited. Then something unexpected happened. The fuel kept coming day and night, endlessly. In August 1944, the U.S. Army launched one of the most remarkable logistical operations in military history. It was called the Red Ball Express. The Red Ball Express was not elegant, it was not perfect, but it worked. Thousands of trucks poured onto the roads of France, driving in massive convoys. Many of the drivers were African American soldiers. Operating under difficult conditions, often without rest, they drove through darkness, rain, dust, and damaged roads. They drove under air attack. They drove without sleep, and they kept Patton moving. The name Red Ball came from railroad slang, meaning priority freight. Anything marked with a red ball moved first. Fuel, ammunition, food, spare parts, nothing else mattered. German intelligence reports began to sound confused. They could not understand how the Americans were sustaining such rapid. Rail lines were destroyed, ports were limited, yet the advance continued. The Red Ball Express moved more than 400,000 tons of supplies in just a few months. At its peak, nearly 6,000 trucks were on the road. This was logistics as a weapon. Patton understood it immediately. He famously said that his army was an army on wheels. Without fuel, it was nothing. With fuel, it was unstoppable. German generals began to realize their mistake. They had underestimated American logistics. They believed supply systems were a weakness. In reality, they were America's greatest strength. Germany's own logistics were collapsing. Fuel shortages crippled. Armored units. Railways were bombed. Supply depots destroyed. German tanks sat idle, while American tanks raced forward. The Red Ball Express didn't just supply Patton. It broke German expectations. It shattered the belief that speed belonged only to blitzkrieg. America had created its own version, fueled by trucks instead of rails, powered by planning instead of desperation. The roads of France became rivers of motion. Convoys stretched for miles. Engines roared. Headlights were masked. Drivers followed strict routes. One-way loops. It's designed to keep traffic moving without interruption. This was industrial warfare in motion. German officers later admitted they had never seen anything like it. An army that moved not because it took risks, but because it had support. By the time the Germans tried to respond, it was too late. Patton's spearheads had already broken through. Cities fell, defensive lines collapsed. The momentum could not be stopped. The Red Ball Express was not glamorous. It did not appear in victory parades, but without it, Patton's Blitz would have died on the roadside in war. Tactics win battles. Logistics win campaigns. And sometimes, logistics win wars. German generals laughed at American supply dependence. Then they watched it crush them. The Red Ball Express proved one thing beyond doubt: you can't stop an army that never runs out of fuel.